Hey everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 Mocks of the Week episode where I show you guys the coolest custom creations I happen to find people building in LEGO bricks throughout this last week. Links to everybody I'm talking about and more are in the description below, so I highly recommend you check out some of these designers we are showing you guys today. And before we jump in, first I'd like to say that the custom building instructions that have popped up in the web store this week are from the designer Louis Meany, and this is the next wave of lightsaber designs from Star Wars Rebels this time. The models include both versions of Ezra Bridger's lightsabers. You also get Kanan Jarrus's one, as well as a design from the Grand Inquisitor. They're excellent models, built extremely strong, very accurate, and they're just a few designs added to a much larger collection that's only getting bigger and bigger. You can find these at brickvault.toys, linked in the description below. And now let's check out some honorable mentions of the week. This simple digital design is from Stubot, titled Le Godfather. Sorry, just had to put this one in there. Then from The Inventor, this is Ebba Monastery, and specifically it's the kitchen scene. It's shot in a wonderful way that really makes you feel like you are inside the kitchen right here. And now we're looking at the Tyrrell 019 115 scale Formula 1 car from the builder Sven, aka Tenderlock. This is an earlier iteration of the Formula 1 look, I think from the 1990s. Looks awesome. And here's an updated version of Intert's T65 X-Wing with some great details. Love all the different colors that can be seen in this micro build from Adam Betts. This is titled Circuit City, and specifically some of these details absolutely match up with circuit boards the closer and closer you look. Cost Brick has some LEGO Mini Among Us builds that look amazing. Jared Riceweber has an awesome, very large scale Gonk droid. And I don't normally do set reveals for top 10 of the week, but this one I just could not wait until the next news episode. We finally have a look at this year's Ultimate Collector Series set being released, and it is titled Luke's Hand After It Was Cut Off by Darth Vader, who is also Luke's dad. Set number 69, 420. 1981 piece. Okay, yeah, this is a joke, but it's great. Ochre Jelly is really on top of it when it comes to just fun, weird, pop culture-y type of builds. Here's a fun mock from Chris Goddard. It's titled, "You're right, Shaggy. The resolution on these old TVs is rubbish." Pretty excellent bit of simplistic building, if you ask me. Valerius Maximus's Mushroom Manor looks awesome. And PB titled this Kinda's bike, not Kaneda. It's inspired from Akira. Anyways, let's jump into top 10 now. Story behind this first one, and this is true, last week when I was going through the top 10, I accidentally clicked X on a tab, and I didn't know which build that I had accidentally deleted from my list until looking again through this week's top 10, and I said, oh yeah, BigPlanes built the 380, and it's absolutely awesome, and I totally forgot that I deleted it from the list last time. So anyways, this is another big ol' plane from the designer BigPlanes. I believe his thing is that he builds his models to perfect minifig scale, so it gives you an idea of just how absolutely massive this plane is. And this builder really does care about focusing on even the most minute accuracies. There is a lot of time, effort, and energy thrown into these extremely impressive models. He's got a full interior, landing gear that retracts correctly, and any detail that looks like it could be an accurate detail is included. It really is an extremely impressive design. The builder Oscar Caamano Hernandez has been making some extremely impressive photo shoots, really. Many are Star Wars inspired. A lot of it has to do with scene setting and lighting. So perhaps these aren't LEGO builds that are getting commemorated, but just some amazing visual featurettes that have a way of just capturing a lot more drama than maybe a build could produce on its own. There isn't one particular build or picture that I'm focusing on here, but instead just a quick showcasing of a handful of amazing scenes done by this builder / photographer. Here's a very interesting build from Lache or Lach. The title is Wolpertinger, and underneath in the description I see the line that says, "Future rabbits make do." So if I'm not mistaken, this is inspired from a like mythical creature similar to a jackalope. So you've got a rabbit with some antlers, but he's designed for the future. My guess is that he probably flies, and who knows what that little red button may do, but the building techniques are wonderful. I love the larger rounded shapes. They all match up quite well with each other. And then I couldn't help myself for this next model, but from Mr. Brick, this is the Iron Man throne. There is something that just works so well with the Iron Man suits of armor being integrated with the old medieval themes. I believe the larger shoulder pauldrons being used on these guys are from the Nexo Knight series, but it doesn't really matter. It just looks amazing what we've got here. The design is relatively simple and the concept is just perfect. I think these minifigs work so well with this clash of different themes. Number 6 on the lineup, if you're keeping track of the numbers, these are not presented in any order of best to worst, but number 6 is from Henjin Quilonis, and it is titled The Apprentice. I love the super high roof for this scene. It really does add a huge level of realism to this particular blacksmith scene that we've got going on here. It lets you really appreciate how massive the forge is in the center of the shot, and there's just some wonderful details to pay attention to. I like the tiling on the floor, the very long chains that reach all the way up to the roof, the little bits of sunlight that cut through the windows, and oh yeah, that's the head of a dragon looking through the archway. So we're in definitely an interesting fantasy world for sure. And let's keep the dragon thing going. Andreas Lenander has built Dragon Attack on Myleth Dorei, a micro-scale medieval fantasy world that includes an ocean, an island, a castle, a boat, and a dragon burning down a forest. He's got a full video on this talking about a few more of the closer details. The light source is in fact his son's iPhone underneath the model, and that's how you're getting the glowing fire effect in the center. The build is done in a clever way where the fire is in fact the object keeping the dragon in the sky, and there's just some wonderful subtle details for this micro scale effect, including slight color changes for the water and some fun shapes used to embroider the castle. Now moving on to number 4, another build from the designer Ochre Jelly. This is titled Rejectz of the Universe, which I think is another continuation of his Rejectz line. This might be the 4th or 5th iteration. So this time, instead of Star Wars, the Rejectz universe lands on the Masters of the Universe. You've got He-Man with his eyes popping out of his head, Skeletor with his jaw jutting out at the bottom and his tongue sticking out as well. I had to look this up, but the guy in red is Orko, who's looks a bit different, I think, than the original universe design. And this guy all the way on the left, who honestly reminded me of a very sad fighter pilot from Star Wars, is actually the man-at-arms, who seems to be very, very tired indeed. Just some great, weird connections that make up these character designs. Very strange, pretty funny. And now we're looking at a build from the designer Carter. This is A.E. MacArthur Landmate. It's just a good old mobile suit or robotic design, clearly built for war. It's got a big old machine gun and just a very pleasing, rugged aesthetic for a robot built to fight in battle. The leg builds work really well here, and I also enjoy the inclusion of all the different supply packs around the waist and the shoulders. It just makes this thing feel very utilitarian. But if we want to focus on some big old robot designs, Henry Pinto's Mobile Suit Gundam RX-78 is absolutely massive. It looks awesome. This is the only picture that we have of it so far, and I don't even have to guesstimate too much, but this is certainly much larger than minifig scale. You can see a guy standing at the base of it to give you an idea of how absolutely huge this model is, and in this sense it very much reminds me of his huge Sentinel that he built a year or two ago as well. Now let's jump into the last one from Firas Abu Jaber. This is the Countach 5000 Quattrovalvole. That's right, a Lamborghini Countach built in white, with the very impressive feat that this thing is built, I think, entirely from the Porsche Creator Expert set that came out not too long ago. Not only does this designer create amazing custom-built, large-scale, highly detailed cars, but he's got a knack for doing it while using all or mostly all pieces that came from a completely different set, which makes it that much more impressive. The Shelby Cobra, built from the Fiat, is still one of the most impressive designs I've ever seen, but this might actually take the cake for me, turning the Porsche into this Lamborghini. Love the details here, and that is going to be it for my personal favorite top 10 MOCs of the week. I'm always curious to know what types of models were your favorite, so you can always comment in the comment section below. Let me know what types of other creations you'd like to see built in the studio in the future. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video, and we'll see you next time at Brick Vault.